Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I bring you guys a brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield video today. We're going to be talking about a brand new rumor regarding Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's got some pretty crazy stuff in it, man. I had at least like 10 of you guys tweet me this rumor yesterday, and you're like, you got to take a look at this. This is nuts. So we're going to jump into it in this video, and as always, you got to take these rumors with a grain of salt. They could be real, they could not be real. We don't know yet, but generally time will tell. But they're fun to talk about nevertheless, and we're a little bit dry right now. They released Cramorant, they released, Polteageist, and then really nothing. Coral comes out in a few days. The cover leaked. There is some Pokemon Sword and Shield stuff on the cover, so I'd say keep an eye out over the next day or two on my channel to see what goes down with Coral. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss stuff. You can turn on those little notifications. Make sure you get them. I want to see the notification squad turn up, show them how awesome it is, and hit that like button down below if you enjoy all these Pokemon Sword and Shield videos. I've been having a blast making them. But anyway, this is a pretty interesting rumor because it actually went down on 4chan. I'm sorry, it went down on Reddit, not 4chan rather. And most of the time you see them on 4chan because 4chan is an anonymous message board. Reddit is not anonymous, but this person made an account called PokeAnon716. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about it. You can see it was about 17 hours ago. My uncle works for the Pokemon company and gave me some information about the upcoming games. Alright, so the first line already has me skeptical because the old my uncle works for Nintendo thing. It's a meme on my channel. I always talk about my Uncle Chris who works for Nintendo. It's a joke. I don't actually have an Uncle Chris who works for Nintendo. Or do I? So, that's a thing. But, I mean, it is someone's uncle works for Nintendo, okay? Someone's uncle. Well, this actually isn't Nintendo. It's the Pokemon company. Someone's uncle works for the Pokemon company, and we know that there's already been a leak that has been confirmed true multiple times. So, well, let's stay open-minded. The starters' final evolutions resemble a spy, a musician, and an athlete. All three have unique abilities. Now, this, I think, is very possible as well, especially since we know from the Aflac leak that Sabo is going to evolve into a spy-themed chameleon. Grookey seems to evolve into some sort of drum-based gorilla or monkey, and then Scorbunny, a lot of people have theorized, is going to have some sort of reference to soccer or football. Inteleon is the final evolution of Sobble and is spy-themed, becomes Water Ghost, has an ability that makes him invisible when hit with a status attack for 1 or 2 turns. That would actually be insane if it got hit with like a Will-O-Wisp or a Toxic or something like that, if it was immune to damage from attacks for like 1 or 2 turns. I don't know if it's random how many turns, or if they just don't know, or whatever. Scorbunny goes from bunny to rabbit to hare, with its final evolution being Blazair. It's an athlete type based on runners. He has a gold medallion around his neck and is fire and electric type, which is really, really cool. One of the types that's theorized for Scorbunny. I think at this point, people are saying Scorbunny's gonna be pure fire, fire fighting, fire electric, fire fairy, and fire steel, I guess are the most common kind of guesses at this point. And before they drop like something ridiculous like fire dragon rabbit. Grookey's final is Grolrock, a grass rock type. It sits around with a drum, with something like a drum kit around him. It has a special attack that is base 60 damage with a chance of paralysis, where he smashes his drums and sends a shockwave at you. Now that's a really cool idea. Base 60 special attack, not very strong, but if it was like a 50% chance to paralyze, or even a little bit higher than that, that could actually be a pretty cool thing. Because most grass types, their only way to paralyze is with Stun Spore. Team Yell is kind of a joke evil team, similar to Team Skull. There are many similarities to Sun and Moon, with the evil team and situation being behind them. Marnie's mother has a company like the Ether Foundation that is doing evil research to the maxing of Pokemon. You come to find out that she already has Eternatus under her control and is using it to control Chairman Rose. This has been a pretty big rumor at this point in time that Marnie has some sort of ties to someone way more popular or kind of significant in the story, and she's kind of rebelling, and that someone is controlling this third legendary Eternatus, which hasn't been confirmed yet, but is part of the Aflac leak, to, kind of take advantage of the energy generated by Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing in these stadiums and in the wild area. The end game is to put the world into eternal darkness thanks to Eternatus and get Zacian and Zamazenta under her control to save the world and become the hero. Marnie knows this and is going about her journey to stop her mother. Marnie's father hired Team Yell to protect Marnie on her journey, unaware of his wife's doing. You can see a change in Chairman Rose about halfway through the game. This is when he goes under the control of Eternatus, which you find out later. Beatty just wants to be the champion, has everything going for him thanks to the power of his parents. Hop is very much like Hal, but it gets a lot more difficult as the game goes on. To stop Eternatus and Marnie's mother, Hop ends up with the non-game specific legendary as both are needed to stop the darkness. So if you're playing on Sword, you get probably Zamazenta, and it's saying Hop is going to get Zacian. We get a lot of first-time type combinations. We get a fire and grass salamander, an electric and poison beetle. You have a Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan type with fighting and fairy and fighting electric type fighters, with being different for gender. Rhydon, Clefairy, Pikachu all get Gigantamax forms, along with about 15 others that haven't been revealed. Lapras gets a Galarian form and a pre-evolution. Its Galarian form looks like a much smaller body with longer fins and neck, and it is fairy and dark type. That's pretty abstract, especially since I think we've seen Lapras kind of, it's like kind of stenciled art on different things, so I'm not necessarily sold on it getting a Galarian form, at least its main form. Farfetch gets a pre-evolution, and Surfetch'd, it becomes normal and steel, which is very different than the previous people who've been saying normal or fighting flying pretty much has been the conclusion is firefighting. Ekans and Arbok get a Galarian form that is dark and electric. That would actually be nuts. Other Galarian forms include Darmanitan, and again, myself and a few other content creators do believe that Darmanitan is getting a Galarian form. There was some, kind of inside source that had kind of told us, not just a random 4chan post, but there was an inside source that's kind of spread a little bit that Darmanitan's getting a Galarian form. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I believe the people that I've talked to about it, and I believe that it's real from them, as long as the person who told them it was real. So it's kind of a few chains away, but I do actually feel like there's a really good chance that this thing gets a Galarian form because there's credibility in this source from the past. So Sandslash, Granbull, Jinx, Ursaring, Probopass, Steelix, Torkoal gets an evolution, and about 5 more. My uncle didn't say who they were. So this is interesting because we actually have seen Steelix in the trailers. So perhaps this is getting some sort of an evolution, or not, I don't know. There are 3 new Eeveelutions, Steel, Ghost, and Dragon. I do actually feel like there's a really good chance that we are going to get Eeveelutions. They showed in the most recent trailer with Pokemon Camp, all the Eeveelutions kind of standing around the campfire. I just feel like that's got to be leading up to an Eeveelution drop. They know that we want an Eeveelution. We know that there should be an Eeveelution. Every even number generation, there's been one. Gen 1, obviously, Gen 2, Gen 4, Gen 6, and here we are, Gen 8. It's very, very likely that we get a new Eeveelution. 3 would be pretty crazy though. Steel, Ghost, and Dragon. Steel and Ghost are prominent in the game or reflected as such. Uncle didn't say how to get Dragon or Steel, but said Ghost has to evolve at a certain level with less than 15 HP left. Has to be near death. There's another Pokemon that gets evolutions like Eevee. It's a cat-based Pokemon. My uncle didn't give the name, but said it's a kitty. It's a play of kitty and evolve. It starts off with 4 branches: ground, rock, flying, and fighting. Uncle said they're leaning away from Eeveelutions and going with the new one, and when they introduce their next type, the kitty will get an Evo. So that's interesting, saying that there's a new type Pokemon like Eevee, which a lot of people speculated that Rockruff was going to be like, but that ultimately didn't end up being true. But it would be cool if they kind of went with the physical side of things instead of the special variants. But I guess when you add in, Ghost, Dragon, and Steel, it doesn't sound like they're going away from Eevee here, but one of the coolest looking Pokemon is a Dragon and Fairy type. He said it looks like Dragonair, but it isn't. Has rainbow scales and it's really long. He thinks it's the evolution of Dunsparce, but he wasn't 100% sure on that. Every pseudo gets a Gigantamax form, and they play off the Godzilla monsters, with Volcarona becoming Mothra, obviously Tyranitar being Godzilla, etc. The Chipmunk Pokemon, Squovent and Greednut. So that's a different typing from the original post, but I think that makes sense. Are Grass and Fairy and Grass and Dark, not sure which one is which. Post game, there's a lot more to do in other games, but you don't visit any other regions. That may come with later game that has you play as a character that goes through every region on your way to be a Pokemon Master. Gen 4 remakes are underway and should be 2 years after Sword and Shield. A lot of debate going on about them, including bringing back the full Dex and Megas and Z moves. So, I guess my thoughts on this post. I guess that there could be some stuff in here that has some factual kind of basis to it. I would say that my gut is that this is not real though. And I'm just kind of hitting you straight with it. I just feel like there was a lot of stuff in here that was very contradictory when we think about the fact that Steelix has already been seen in the trailer. So to say it has a Galarian form seems very unlikely with the fact that we've seen Steelix kind of roaming in the wild. It's not completely an elimination situation because why couldn't they have a regular Steelix and a Galarian Steelix coexisting? I feel like that's possible in different parts of the region, right? It's not that outside of the box, just there's a lot of speculation around Galarian Hoothoot, but we've seen Hoothoot in the trailer, but we've also, in Alola, you can find Alolan Rattata in the grass, but you can face trainers with regular Rattatas. So anything is possible in that regard. I feel like it's weird to say that there's going to be something that kind of focuses away from Eeveelutions, and then they release 3 Eeveelutions. 2 of which fall into the physical category, and then they released this new kitty Pokemon that apparently is more physically focused, ground, rock, flying, fighting. So that seems kind of interesting to me. There's a lot of questions and a lot of references to this hidden uncle here who works for Pokemon. I'm gonna write this one up as probably not real, but I suppose time will tell. There was definitely some thought put into this post, and there was definitely some time put into it. Weird to see a leak show up on Reddit, to be honest. Usually they're on 4chan, but nevertheless, give me your thoughts on it. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. Be sure to like the video and subscribe, as I do think we could get something new from Coral. Maybe. We'll find out. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.